Hello everyone, today's video is on the David case, or better known as d4vd. Anyways, this man is sick. I don't want to give him too much attention. I even hesitated to talk on this topic due to the fact that I didn't want to use his name as a way to get views or anything like that. But I think this pattern that he used is so sick, it needs to be talked about, and I have a lot to say about the case. With that being said, all condolences to Celeste Rivas and her family. May she rest in peace. She was a very young lady. Not even a lady yet, a very young girl. You know what I'm saying? An underage girl. And yeah, today we'll be breaking down the Withered album and how sick that album is. Rivas passed away April 23rd of 2025, and then was later on found September 8 in the back of his Tesla. A very sad case indeed. She was found a similar date to her birthday, but worst part of all, she died April 23rd. Keep that in mind because it's going to be very important to this video. Okay? This sick man would shamelessly release his Withered album 2 days after the day of her death. No remorse, no guilty conscience, just a man trying to fantasize and make a fetish out of his gruesome crimes against a minor. It's pretty sick how bad his headspace was to not have no remorse for this kid and just make it a little theme, a fun theme for himself to release the album 2 days after she passed. You know what I'm saying? Very horrific stuff indeed. It all seems very planned out in my opinion. It seems like he had some type of fantasy he wanted to live out, not only through his gory music videos, but the way that there's a whole timeline leading on to her death, the album release. Every time he would make a song, if you go to his YouTube, which I recommend you to do if you just want to get some research on this topic, notice how he releases singles in the month of September, which is her birth month, like I mentioned earlier. But also, this segment released, like I said, the album 2 days after the day of her passing. If you look through the title of the Withered album by David, all the titles are very suspicious. He has a song named Ghost, where he mentions lyrics like, "You might have her, but I have her ghost." Very sick stuff indeed. Again, like I said, keep in mind this was 2 days after the murder took place. And yeah, when sickest part of all, when something withers is when something decays. That's when something is dying off. There was a deeper definition that matched how dark the description really is, considering the fact of everything that happened, but I couldn't really find it on my laptop. Again, take your time to read this, look up the definition of withered yourself, and connect it on how the same way the young girl passed away. It matches the description of withered almost to the dot, showing how little remorse he had, how for him it was just a fantasy he was living. And again, very sick stuff. And now we're going to break down the last part of the video, probably one of the sickest parts of all. We're going to be talking about the title of his deluxe album. I don't know the exact date that one released, but the title itself is very sick, and we're going to break it down right now. Marsens, I believe that's how it's pronounced. If I butchered the title, I apologize. But to cut it brief, the definition of this word, again, my laptop didn't have the deeper definition, but when I looked it up on my phone earlier today, it breaks down how this word, this process goes on mostly on juvenile trees. For me, the sickest part of all. She was a juvenile, she was a girl, a little girl. You know what I'm saying? These are juvenile trees that go through this process. Again, showing how sick this man was, how he did his research in order to match his gruesome crimes with album titles. I mean, the album title, the deluxe title, and the single releases in the album, you know what I'm saying? Very sick stuff indeed. Again, look up the definitions yourself. Maybe I'll get the deeper versions that really show you how sick this man was. Again, rest in peace to Celeste Rivas. Condolences to her family. This man is sick. I don't see how. I do understand why the cops, like, they need to. It's a long investigation. I fully understand that, but I don't get how you can defend this man. If you do, I really haven't seen anyone defend him. But again, very sick stuff, very planned out, sick fantasy this man wanted to live out, and yeah, he's where he's at because of his actions. May justice be served. Hope y'all have a great day or night, depending when you see this. Stay safe. There's always someone to talk to. If you need to call someone, let them know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Just know you could always reach out. Sometimes people are closer than we think. You know what I'm saying? You're never alone. Don't think you all when you want anything. You can always walk away. And take care of your children. Again, this is a child that passed away. You know what I'm saying? She didn't know any better. I've seen a lot of people trying to justify their relationship, calling it a relationship. It's abuse at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? If you see abusing cases where someone's 2-3 years older than someone, imagine in this case where it's a whole adult and a whole child, it's going to be mentally very abusive. So again, take care of your children. Even if they're teenagers and they think they're grown, always, keep an eye on them. You know what I'm saying? These type of cases are horrible and more common than we think. Again, always contact someone if you feel like you need help. And yeah, I'm out. Love y'all. Take care.